And welcome back to The Factor. Uncensored actor Johnny Depp claimed cancel culture has gone too damn far. He was talking about his libel case against a British tabloid and how they characterize him as a husband to his ex-wife Amber Heard. So we had a chance to sit down to one of his good friends, a co-worker, a man who's appeared in movies with Johnny Depp, to get to the bottom of the cancel culture in America today.
And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored is Emmy-nominated actor Greg Ells, longtime and good friend of Johnny Depp. Glad to have you here on The Factor Uncensored, also actor and author. But first, you hear about your friend Johnny Depp, who recently talked about being a victim of the cancel culture. Your thoughts on what he had to say in the article?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. Look, Johnny was kind enough to write the foreword for my book, The Respondent, which is out. And, I think it's brave. Anytime someone speaks in a position, a platform, in a privileged position like him about cancel culture, it's very real. I mean, in the academy, in education, in the liberal arts, in entertainment business, we've seen so many people unpersoned and canceled. So, he spoke out today, and I hope he speaks more. He's quite a reclusive fellow ordinarily. I hope he speaks more about this and brings this to the forefront, because too many people's livelihoods are being lost and families are being adversely affected by this extremes that I see in society of you're either this side or you're the other side, the divisive nature of the conversation. There's too much social murder, if you will, on anti-social media, as I call it. And we need to start finding a way to moderate and have civil discourse and come together more and find commonalities rather than differences.
Now, your friend Johnny Depp has made billions of dollars for studios as a result of the movies, the blockbusters that he has been in, but still, that didn't matter. When you take a look at what he has gone through as a friend, how does this personally affect you as his friend?
It's deeply concerning and painful to see someone going through what he's been through. This started in 2016 with what I call the silver bullet of high conflict divorce. I remind people Johnny has not been found guilty or even tried of any crime, but like cancel culture, many people are tried in the court of public opinion rather than an actual court. We have to remember that presumed innocent till proven guilty, and that seems to have fallen by the wayside, particularly with all these allegations that seem to be thrown out there these days. I do think there's a tendency sometimes within our culture now to reward victimhood, and when victimhood is rewarded, responsibility never follows. And I think victimhood to a degree has become the new social currency, and its economy is booming. And, I think it's an affront to the real victims out there when people are making false allegations. So, for example, with him, 2016, it was family law it all started, the false allegation of domestic violence in family law. And, because there is no presumption of innocence in family law, it's the one branch of our legal system that doesn't provide that. Ironically, criminals get more due process and presumption of innocence than families, fathers, mothers, parents, good citizens do. So taking a look at this and wanting to improve this system, particularly for, not just for Johnny Depp, I mean, I mentioned this as well, Isaiah, many times, this, if it can happen to Johnny, if it can happen to me, if it can happen to so many others, Brad Pitt, Jeremy Renner, and many women in the public spotlight, it is happening to people who can't afford to defend themselves, who don't have the platform in the press. People of poor socioeconomic backgrounds who maybe don't have access or the finances to be able to fight in the media, in the public square. So it's really important that we begin to have more of this conversation. And where it pertains to men and women, I think we need more of a Me Too dialogue and less of a Me Too monologue.
Now, you're an actor and you're standing up for Johnny Depp, but it could affect you. And so you're taking a chance by defending your friend, right?
Yeah, and I think we have to plant our flag in the sand and have integrity and know our values and say this is wrong. And I'm going to stand beside. I think it was 5 years ago when I first found out what had happened with Johnny, and I said, I think I put out on social media, I stand beside Johnny Depp. I did then, I do now, and I will continue.
And what kind of reaction, really quick, did you get when you put that on social media?
Actually, it was surprising, Isaiah. I got so much support, and people who really appreciated, I think, the fact that I was taking that stand, and I still do today. Of course, there are going to be the vocal mob, you know, the small minority of people who take issue, who don't have time to actually, and we can't on social media discuss the nuance. So, you know, there are groups of people who are just looking for division, who don't look at the evidence, who don't take the time to actually explore. We live in this clickbait society with ratings and media where the story is everything, and we need to sell that story and the headline and the byline. And his story with Amber Heard is way more complex than that. And I think it speaks to the real issue, which we have I believe it's a national health emergency, which is the system of family law, which is set to incentivize the attorneys and everyone inside that system. I write about this in my book, The Respondent, to the tune of close to $60 billion a year. And if we improve that system, then we're going to improve incarceration rates. They're going to be less with the education system, all of the factors of the social ills that we can provide relief to, if we actually tackle this head on.